Welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm Heather Lee Chapman, your holistic transformation coach and host. And today we're here with Annabelle King. And Annabelle builds brand stories that grow businesses. She is a brand and marketing consultant and the founder of I Like Storytelling. And today we're talking all about how to create a personal brand. So, thank you so much for being on the show, Annabelle. I'm super grateful to have you. Tell us more about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much, Heather. It's really wonderful to be here. Before I start, I just want to say I'm so happy and grateful to live, work, and play on Salt Spring Island in BC, which is the unceded and stolen lands of the Hulkaneem and Senchosna speaking peoples. Now, that actually covers many, many, many Indigenous folks that made this island home, because it was like a little spot of an island that was in between a lot of other places. So the list is far too long for me to actually list off. I think it's over 30. But most of them are under the Coast Salish peoples, and most of them are underneath the umbrella of the Hulkaneem and the Senchosna speaking peoples. So yeah, just want to say I'm grateful to all of them.
Thank you
Uh,
for that acknowledgement.
yeah, thank you. So yes, my name is Annabelle King. As you said, I am a brand and marketing consultant, and I specialize in uncovering brand stories that grow businesses. Essentially, I create brand stories that grow businesses. But I do that for brands, so like products, services, and experiences. And I did that for many, many years. I've been in the business 23 years now. But I also do it for people. Because what I'd noticed about 10 years ago is a lot of companies were coming to me and saying they needed a brand, but actually it was a person who was selling their expertise, or they were the face of a company. And in that case, it's kind of strange to build a brand for a person, in the old-fashioned sense of building a brand strategy. So I built a personal brand strategy model then that I have been using many, many times to help many, many clients build their own personal brand strategies. I build them, and then I have online courses that are live, that I support groups of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and people who are the face of their business build their own personal brand strategies that are awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think, is there anything else you'd like to know? Because I can talk all day about all of the things that I do.
Yeah, well, give us a little bit of how you got started into doing what you're doing.
Oh, you mean like the origin story?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will take you back to 16-year-old Annabelle in her first marketing class, and just being fascinated and mesmerized by marketing. And even just understanding, the mindset of a customer, and that there was a process to understand how people think and decide that they want something. But in truth, even before that class, it was kind of like, I suppose, observing myself was like a bit of a science experiment, because I myself was like fascinated by how I didn't know anything about a product one day. Like, I'd never heard of it before, didn't even know it existed, didn't know that problem could be solved. And then I would hear about it and I'd obsess about it. And all I would do is think about needing this thing that, and how, and this, like I said, this is teenager Annabelle. How will I get the money? Where will I buy it? What am I going to do when I use it? How wonderful my life will be the moment I have this product, right? And that was like, I think I was like maybe 12 when I first was like, oh my gosh, like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is going on? But of course, there was nothing wrong with me. I'm just like the ultimate consumer, you know? Like,
All the makeup ads got me as a teenager.
oh yeah,
Shoppers,
yeah.
Drug Mart, and the makeup aisle was my favorite.
Oh my gosh, I will tell you, Maybelline really made me think I could like elevate my life with
Yes,
mascara.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. And after that, Heather, I will say it was straight as an arrow. Like, I left school, I did a business and marketing degree. I went on and did a master's in practical marketing, which was a super cool master's that I got to do, where I actually got to work with clients in my master's. Like, it was awesome. Like, I ran projects, so it's kind of like a pre-agency model that they had set up. But yeah, straight as an arrow, I came out. I started working in marketing agencies, brand agencies, advertising agencies. For 15 years, I worked in all these different types of marketing agencies, because I just wanted to learn every type of marketing. I wanted every string on my bow, and by the end of 15 years, that's when I was like, right, I don't think I can learn more in the agencies. You know, I think it's time for me to build my own with everything that I've learned. And what I
Mm,
will tell you is, I don't know, it's nearly 8 years ago now, when I had to sit there and kind of really decide, right, hey, what am I going to build my company on? Because going out there and saying you offer all types of marketing, which I could do. I'm a strategist by trade, so that means I build plans, like marketing plans, brand plans, social strategies, content strategies. But when I looked at all of the types of strategies I could build, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be a jack of all trades, and as a good marketer and a good brand strategist, one should find a niche in the marketplace and position themselves around that niche so that they are unique compared to their competitors. And so that they're offering, value that their customers care about. And so when I looked at all the things, I basically said, right, if I could only pick one type of strategy, what's the most important strategy? And it was so clear. Like, it's a brand strategy. And, for those who don't know what a brand strategy is, it's a messaging strategy. It's deciding, one, how you're going to position yourself in the marketplace, which is where you're going to play and who you're going to compete against, right?
mm,
And then the next part is a messaging strategy. What is your key brand message to express that position in the marketplace so that your clients and customers understand you are for them? And so that's where, so I went down a rabbit hole. I'd already built a few models in agencies for really effective brand strategy creation. But I built my own bespoke one when I set up the consulting practice. I like storytelling. And I've been working on that. I've been helping businesses and people uncover the most unique and compelling messages about what they offer since then. And I now do it in lots of ways. I do it in consulting. I obviously build brand strategies themselves for people, but I also facilitate marketing retreats where I help people build their own strategies. I also have online courses where I help them build their own strategies because I feel like this needs to be accessible to everybody. So even if you're a small business owner and you don't have a lot of funds for training, like, it's so important to do this work because all of the other marketing work uh, balances on whether you have the right message to put out there in the marketplace.
absolutely.
And you can spend so much time, money, and energy throwing marketing mud at the wall. And you can do it for years as a business owner and not attract your ideal customers. So
Mm,
so I wanted to make sure that everybody could access this work. And there's a bunch of freebies on my site. If anybody's interested in learning more, there's a free resources page there. Because it's important to learn about what's in a brand strategy and figure out, like, hey, how do you position yourself really well in the marketplace? Yeah, and then I just, my own passion project was the personal brand strategy development. So it's 10 years ago, I built the first personal brand strategy model. Because when you build a personal brand strategy, yes, you're looking for a position in the marketplace. Yes, you're looking to find out what customers need and want so that you're saying the right things. But then there's the human element. It's
mm,
a person with characteristics, with traits, with values, with personalities, with strengths. And you need to uncover all of those juicy things so that you can position yourself authentically in the marketplace. So I love helping entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people who are selling their expertise get into really uncovering the juicy value that they offer and helping them feel more confident. Because when you have a personal brand strategy, like, when you go through the steps, and believe and are confident in the value that you offer, and your customers care about it. So you don't have any confusion
mm.
before about, like, I don't know if people care. I don't know if, should I say this, should I say that? I don't know what mess. All of that's gone at the end of a personal brand strategy process. For sure what the right thing is to say, and that all the other stuff is window dressing or doesn't matter. And that just helps you build better marketing. It helps you connect with people better. Like, my personal brand statement is, I build brand stories to grow businesses, and that's what I do. Like,
I think you could have a tagline. I love how you said, stop throwing marketing mud and hoping it sticks. And I think it's so powerful. People understand that the branding and the messaging
yeah,
is going to drive the marketing. And like you said, if it's not on point,
yeah,
then you can spend so much time, energy, and money on it and not attract or close the right clients. So it
yes,
is the groundwork for every business, that has to come first. I think it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have another phrase here, random acts of marketing. I'm like, stop doing random acts of marketing. It's just like, but also if you are the owner of your business or the leader of your business, like you have limited time. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And it's even if you're doing your own marketing and you're not paying somebody else to make the things for you, like those are still hours every week that you're spending putting into marketing that's not being effective. So like
mm.
your time is money. So get the foundations right, get the right message right, and then the marketing becomes easier.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it,
drives everything up. And then you enjoy doing it as well.
yeah, yeah. And I will tell you, Heather, guys, I need to fess up. It was not always this way for me, right? So when I went out there first and opened my company, I was an expert brand strategist and marketer. I mean, I had been doing it 15 years and I was well trained and well educated in the field. But I went out in my first couple of years and I talked about brand strategy and I talked about brand positioning and I talked about unique selling points a lot. And I talked a lot, as you probably are guessing. I call my company I Like Storytelling because I do like storytelling. But I talked a lot and like clients didn't always understand what I was saying. When I was talking about competitive advantages, unique selling propositions, when I was talking about brand positioning, even when I was just saying brand strategy, I don't think a lot of people know what a brand strategy is intuitively. I think a lot of people think branding is a logo, and actually it's not. The logo is a creative expression that comes later. It's a visual that comes from the brand strategy, but the brand strategy is your brand messaging strategy. Anyway, I talked a lot of acronyms and people I could see and
Well, it's your zone of genius, right? So when you speak in your own language and you're like, I'm adding so much value, but they don't even know what they don't know yet. And
yeah,
yeah, and so that's why I know your tips are going to help people avoid that. But I
yeah,
was so guilty of that when I first started online as well. Speaking in the language of our zone of genius, right? We're not necessarily landing for our clients, and had to really get clear on what is going to land with the client, what is going to help solve their problem, what is it in their language. Um,
yeah,
because I had built my first business for a decade off of referrals. I hadn't
yeah,
marketed. And now all of a
yeah,
sudden I was in this online space and learning how to market.
yeah,
And once I really nailed down the brand messaging and the branding and ensuring that it was in the language of the client
mm,
and knowing what their needs and wants were, everything just happened so much quicker and easier. And that's where you can
yeah.
do less and close more so you can
Yes.
serve more.
Yeah, and I also think you're absolutely right. And it sounds like, you're like me. Like, listen, we love the thing we make. Like us creators, whatever it is, we're all creators if we're making something, whether it's a service or a product or experience, we're still creators. And if we're building a business, we're creating a business. We're all creators. But when you make the thing and you devise the thing, like you love the thing and you want to talk about the thing and you're nerding out on the thing, but other people don't necessarily share that excitement. Because guess what? They care about the value you can offer them. And sometimes that's not about the thing you make. Sometimes that's about the experience with you. Sometimes it's another side benefit of having the thing that you make. You actually don't know until you talk to them and really understand. So like in my situation, I was still winning business, but I'll be honest, I think half of the people were buying me because they liked me and believed in my expertise, but I don't think they were buying me and my services because they really understood the value I was offering. I think they just kind of were like, oh, this girl knows what she's talking about. She'll probably solve our solution. We're just not really sure how, but that's okay. Leave her to it. And that's also a position of like, if you're an expert in your field, there is always a little gap like that. They don't know everything that we know. But I did realize like, oh no, I need to get clear on what this is. So I started asking them. I did the vulnerable thing and I went back and asked previous clients about why they hired me, what they cared about, what value I delivered. And you know what was really interesting? I focus so much on selling the brand strategy, right? The key brand message and your 4 to 5 reasons to believe that you can deliver on your message, right? That's kind of the heart of the strategy. There's lots of other things in there, but that's the heart of it. So I focused a lot on selling that. But what they would tell me was what the impact was when they had that and used it. They would say, oh, I feel more confident in my marketing and my messaging. Oh, I feel more confident to tell people what I do. I feel more confident when I have more clarity around what the most important things are. I'm now able to build my marketing way easier, way faster, way more efficient, and it works better. So those weren't things that were about the thing I made. They weren't saying, "Oh, we really liked, that document you gave us." No, they liked the benefits of having it. So that is one thing, So I went down a route myself, and I built my own personal brand statement. And the other thing that came out across the board when I spoke to all of them, I was like, what is the number one benefit that you have found from working with me, or what strategies I've delivered to you? And in different ways, the same thing came back, that it helped them grow their business, right? In different ways, because they were able to figure out their ideal clients quicker. So they stopped talking to people who weren't a good match. They were able to attract more of their ideal clients, so they would get more business from that. They were able to do marketing that was more effective, so they would win more clients. So it goes, the list goes on, right? And so that's when I realized, oh, that's what I deliver. I deliver, you know, growing businesses, And then I was like, okay, well, what do I actually do then? I was like, well, I build brand strategies, but people, like I said, what I realized was people don't always intuitively know what a brand strategy is. And I was like, well, it's really a brand story. Like, that's what you get at the end. It's beautiful messaging that you can put in many places, and you can retell in different ways, which is what a story is. So then for me, I'm shortening the process, but it was a long process to get me to, I build brand stories that grow businesses. And it's all been so much clearer since then. And from my own experience, if any of you are out there feeling like you're in conversations where the eyes glaze over, or somebody's being polite, or somebody's buying what you're offering, but they don't really know what they're buying, which is, it's a nice compliment, but that's it. You want them to see the value, understand the value, and buy that value, so if you're out there feeling any of those feelings, it's time. It's
Yeah.
time to put that, hold up the mirror, do a little work, find out what your clients really care about, and build a personal brand strategy. Do you know what I mean? Whatever, whether it's a small light one that you do DIY yourself, or whether you look for more support, whether from me or from one of my courses, or whether you go read a book in it. But like, just know that, like, it's work that has to be done at some point, and as soon as you do it, everything becomes easier afterwards.
It's laying the groundwork for the business. You don't build a house on sand, right? Although I was like, this house is on sand, but it has a cement base,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it's so important. So I know that you were noting, and guys, listen, the number one tip is build a compelling personal brand strategy. And so this is your foundation for your business. And really, I think before you go and do anything, that's the number one place to start, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And just know that for every successful business out there where you're the face of your business, this work has to be done at some point. So whether you do it now or you do it in 3 or 5 years, just know that it's something that happens when you're building a business, and it's got to be done at some point. Sooner you do it, the sooner you get the rewards.
Yes.
Like anything.
Yeah.
But I do have a few practical tips, if you don't mind me sharing, that people can do, like, right away. So, like, just know sometimes there's things in business where it's a big thing. You're like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to do a lot of learning. I was like, no, there's a couple of practical things you can do right away just to kind of get the ball rolling. I believe in action and experiential learning. And also, everything in my courses and in this process helps you build a better business all round. Like, it's not just for the marketing piece. So one of the big things is understand what your customers and clients really value, right? And um, you know, I don't know. Well, spoiler alert. It's not the thing you think they value.
Mm,
We as the creators are so obsessed with the thing that we make that we think we think something is really important. Clients always, like I told you from my example, clients always value other things. Always. I've never seen an example where it matches perfectly. So know that there's gold to find, right? And how can you do that? Well, you ask them, right? And you do it in whatever way feels least cringy for you. But I will tell you that a straight up interview, you'll get loads of gems and you can dig into stuff. But you can do an email, you can do a survey, you can do an interview with your previous clients, and just ask them two questions like, what did they appreciate about working with you? And what value did they get from whatever you delivered or from working with you? And you'll be so interested to see what they say. Because look, value also can be tangible and intangible. So let's say you make a thing and they buy the thing. That's a tangible, they get to use it. It's a physical thing, right? But intangible benefits are emotional benefits, peace of mind, confidence, clarity. All of those things are highly valuable. In fact, they can be way more valuable than the thing that you've made. So just be open to the
mm.
fact that they may tell you lots of things. Yeah.
And I just wanted to add to that, guys, that's so important because that is literally going to help you have your marketing messaging that you can turn into a post. That is what you want to sell is sell the results. We as our business owners, we love what we have created is what Annabelle is saying. And we often will talk about the how. So it's got 6 self-core mastery lessons. It's on Wednesdays at 3:15. We meet weekly, 2 masterminds, 2 co-working sessions. And I love the structure of Success Principle Society. That's the how. They're not buying that. They're buying those tangible and intangible results, right? The growing of the business, tangible, but the community, um, the confidence that they build, it's those things. And so when we only are going to know when we ask. So I love that. Uncover what your clients need and want, not what we think they need and want.
Exactly.
Like they're actually saying they need it.
Yeah. And Heather, to your point there, in this process that you do, you'll be able to gather a couple of quotes and testimonials that you can pop on your website and put on social and post. So there's value from doing it right away. Yeah, and I think it's an important practice to get into doing, like, on the regular.
Just going to say, even maybe have that part of like a form when people are exiting, like an exit form or even a renewal form. Have they thinking about putting that into your process?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. All
Um,
right.
Yeah, and then so the next little practical exercise that you can do to uncover some of the ingredients to build a personal brand strategy is translate what you do into what it delivers. Okay, and this is an exercise you can do by yourself. So you just get a piece of paper, you write down all of the things you do or offer. Just write them all down. Then pick your top 2 to 5, depending on whether you have a broad range of services or smaller, Write each of them on their own piece of paper, and then on the other side of on that piece of paper, write down all the things you think that thing can deliver. Tangible things and intangible benefits and emotional benefits as well. Write them all down and really like puzzle it out in your brain. Put yourself in your client's shoes and go, what do they get when they get this thing from me? And remember, in my example, I was selling the strategy, right? But when they got the strategy, it was they could make marketing easier. They had an elevator pitch that they could send, make those meetings easier. Like there's lots of things, like there's lots of like domino effect benefits that kind of happen afterwards. Even that exercise gets you out of the creator mindset and into your customer shoes. And that alone can actually impact your business right away. So like these things, these little practical exercises that we do, they have value in themselves, but then the juicy insights you get about what your customers need and want and what you actually deliver are elements you can use to build your personal brand statement. Now, you can go DIY it. There's a bunch of free resources on my website. So if you go on to ilikestorytelling.com/free dash resources. You'll find in there a mini course, it's like 20 minutes where you can actually go through the process. And then you'll find a little guide for how to build your personal brand statement. And there's no email gatekeeping or anything like that. This stuff is just free. So there's no excuse not to go and download it and give it a go, as we say in Ireland.
I love that. And guys, that's so important because it is going to be the foundation for your business. So I want you to check that out. The link is below. She's got tons of resources there for you, so many things that she's created for free. And I know that she had noted that those who are watching the show would also get a bonus 100% off if you chose to work with her. So if you do go to that website and you fall in love and it's amazing, make sure you reach out to her and say you saw the episode and that you want to work with her because, guys, essential. You want business to be smoother, easier. You want to get into your customer's shoes and out of the creative mindset. I like that.
Yeah.
Then this is where to start. And it is so essential to the success of your business and to be able to attract your ideal clients instead of repel them. Because, guys, everything online is your competition. You have cats, so I think that's cute that I always use the cat story. I was like,
Yeah.
even the cats on
Yeah.
Instagram, on LinkedIn, they're competition too. So what is going to, the number one thing our goal is to do is to grab people's attention. So how are you going to get them to stop scrolling? How are you going to get them to pause and look and want to know more? It's making sure that brand strategy is on point and out of our creative mindset and in that customer's shoes. I love that so much.
So Heather,
$100 off.
Yeah.
I say 100%.
You said 100%.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Which, to be honest, makes sense for the free resources.
Yes, they are 100% off. Those are free. But she's got a course coming up, and actually tell us about your course that you run.
Oh my gosh, I love this course. I did it. So I have an online personal brand strategy course that you can use yourself, like a self-guided course. And I launched that about 2 years ago. And, lots of people use it and enjoy it. But what I found was a lot of people didn't finish it, and which is a problem with online courses, period, And so I built a live online course. So we spend 8 weeks together. We do co-working sessions each week for 2 hours. There's a little break in the middle where everybody's off doing their own research, because that takes a little bit of time just for people to come back to you. And so we meet every week and I teach the lessons, exercises that we're going to do that week. We do a little bit of work together, and then you go off with your homework to do some work and finish some exercises away. So just like those exercises I said about what you do and what you deliver, translating them, that's one of the exercises, for example. And then after we build our personal brand statement, which is like the creative, beautiful gem we make, towards the end, I have 2 co-working sessions where I have guest speakers coming to teach people how to execute. And these are gold. I've got a leader in PR for small businesses. I should say public relations, because when I say PR in my accent, people do not know what I mean. So public relations for small businesses, founder-led sales by this legend who just helps people who own their own businesses sell better and in a very authentic, non-selly way, which is wonderful. Everybody are people that I use myself or are, collaborators in the industry with me. And then the other one is an expert on LinkedIn posting, because if you're going to be, LinkedIn is really the place you got to be if you're in a service-based business, other social channels are great. But, if you're looking for other professionals, then that's definitely where you want to be. But also, she teaches people how to do authentic posting, period, that's inclusive and supports every reader. So it's not just my course, it's these amazing leaders that come at the end and do whole sessions on how to market better, like build your business and market better. So I'm very excited about it. It's October 16th to December 11th, but I also do it each quarter, so I'll be doing it again later on. So the dates, just letting you know now in case you're watching now, but if you come in the future, just check out my website. And yeah, like I said, it runs for it's 8 weeks or 9 weeks, actually. It might be 9 weeks. Yeah, and it's wonderful, because you're in a group with a maximum of 10 people, and everybody is service-based providers. Most of them are service-based providers. Every now and again we have people who are selling products and experiences, And you support each other. Everybody supports each other. We share ideas. We share vulnerabilities around, holding the mirror up and looking at the value we offer. Everybody kind of cheerleads each other on. Like, it's just, it's hard to do this sort of work. I think in general, I think it's hard to do any of this work when it's outside. It has to fit in around your own work. But it's so lovely to do it in community because the other people are supporting you, and there's just this beautiful accountability. Everybody wants to come to the sessions with their exercises done because
Yeah.
they don't want to tell other people. And I've seen it, the shame. One person didn't do his exercises one week, and he was like, he literally apologized to the whole group like 3 times.
Aw.
And like, so it's just an indication of like, it's nice to have a format or a structure where you're like, hey, I want to show up and be my best self there. And I think they build a better strategy because they're doing it in community.
Yeah, well, community is essential especially if you're a solopreneur, we're working in silos. And
Mm.
so we no longer want to do that. Get into community. There's so much value in community and feedback, and you never know what those people would be able to offer you as well. I
Yeah.
love that, Annabelle. Amazing. Okay, so guys, the link is there. You're going to check out her website. You're going to grab the free resources if you want to work with her, which I know you will, and you want to join that course, whatever quarter you get started in. Make sure you let her know you watch this show. And then how we love to wrap up our shows are, you all know I'm a bookworm. So is your favorite book recommendation and why? And she's also got a book and a podcast, and you have a few. So tell us about them.
Okay, I'll do it quickly. I want to tell you, because the personal brand strategy course, you are crafting a personal brand statement at the end. There is a creative process there, which I guide people through. It is inherently creative. We're all creators building our businesses. So I like to inspire my creativity with a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I will tell you the audiobook is wonderful because she has an amazing accent, and she just reads beautifully, and the book is written beautifully. But it's all about ideas. This concept she has that ideas are floating around in the ether looking for human hosts.
Mhm.
So, and that you get idea, and she talks about all these examples, and you hear them, and you're like, oh my God, that's happened. Like, I'll give you an example. So, and you have this idea, and you're like, oh God, I got to do that. You tell everybody about it, and then it dwindles away. 2 years later, you see the idea come to life in the marketplace, and you tell everybody it was your idea, right? That's an example. She says, like, the idea is trying to run.
Happens all the time. It's
Yeah.
happened to me. Yeah, 100%.
And she has some fantastical examples, like from Napoleon Bonaparte. Like there's like she has examples from throughout history. Like it's really interesting. It's fascinating. So that's the personal one. If you just want some creative inspiration. And then the other one is Blair Enns is a consultant for creative businesses and consultants, right? And so he's written a famous book called Win Without Pitching that I reference every year. In fact, I reference the manifesto often, and I have done for many, many years. But his most recent book is called The Four Conversations, and it's the four conversations of selling. And basically, he's been doing this for 30 years, but he's like, look, it's not selling, it's four conversations. And when you understand what the four conversations are, some of them happen with and without you. And what's really fascinating is when you understand the mechanics of the conversation, it helps you see what conversation you're in when you're talking to a client. And it helps you know what information to share and what to not share. And his goal is always about creating the perfect match. It's not about selling or persuading people to buy something that's not for them. It's actually because he says like that's painful for you in the end. Like so we're
Mhm.
always looking for the best match. Now, him and David C. Baker, another amazing author who is his he runs a different company, but the two of them partner and do a podcast called The Two Bobs, right? So number two and Bobs afterwards. I will tell you, I've listened to all 300 episodes in that podcast, and I have listened to many of them multiple times. Like, I go back, like, if I'm getting ready to do a new business drive, for example, I'll go back and I'll search lead generation in his podcast, and I'll listen to the 4 podcasts over the last 5 years about lead generation. They're 30 minutes long. I am waiting with bated breath every second Wednesday for the next one to drop because every single one is gold. And they're also hilarious, and the banter is hilarious. And in every podcast, they're telling you about books and other things and things like you could just study the stuff that comes out of the podcast and you would be, better at your business. So yeah, and you'll just have a smile every time you listen to it. So it's definitely, I highly recommend it. If you only listen to one of my recos there, that would be the one I would put into action.
I love it. I've already followed it on Spotify, so I will definitely be listening. And I'm excited to actually listen to The Big Magic because it's not the first time I've heard about it, although I've never listened to it. And I personally love audiobooks. So since you said that she is great on that, I will definitely be checking that out. So thank you so much for those recommendations. And I'll make sure I add that in the description for you guys so you check it out yourself.
Yeah.
Annabelle, is there anything else you would like to say or add to our guests today?
Oh, well, just a big thank you to you, Heather, for all of the work that you do. I mean, one of the reasons that I gravitated towards you when I met you in a networking group is because I know that your mandate is to help people grow themselves and their businesses. And I just love the human centered approach that you have. And it,
Thank you.
it just, yeah, made me want to get to know you more, made me interested to get on this podcast to talk to you. I feel like you're touching all these humans and business owners out there and helping them grow their businesses in a different way than I am, but it's really admirable. And I just want you, like from my heart, to know that yeah, it's wonderful to know you and it's wonderful to be here and wonderful to know you're doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you so, so much. You're so sweet and so kind. And it's my mission. I'm here to help you conscious entrepreneurs so that
Oh,
we can make the world a better place and so that we can live our best life because this is no dress rehearsal. So let's live it to the fullest and let's reach our full potential. And that's exactly why I bring guests on like Annabelle so that you guys can learn what you didn't know, and start to learn about all these incredible entrepreneurs that you can now have access to and all the wisdom that they hold and how they're serving their communities. So, thank you again so much for being on the show today.
thank you. It was wonderful chatting with you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, remember, everybody, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, expect magic and miracles, and what is the best that can happen. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.